Greetings everyone, this is Jim Todd with Video Surgeon, and welcome to this week's weekly video tip. One of the many useful features found in Video Surgeon is the ability to isolate a part or parts of a video that you're interested in, thus allowing you to ignore or remove the other parts. And today we're going to show you how to do this. I am using a video I've downloaded from YouTube using Video Surgeon, and this video contains riffs from 20 different artists. So let's say for purposes of discussion that there are 2 different riffs within this video that I'd like to keep and everything else I'd like to discard. So I've got this video set up and I've got part of the work done because I'm going to demonstrate not 1, not 2, but 3 different ways in which you can really accomplish this. So the first thing that you have to do is to isolate the sections of the video that you are interested in, and I've done that here using looping areas. So there's a looping area that I've created for this Randy Rhoads segment or riff, and then there's a second looping area I've created for this Ritchie Blackmore section. So once this is done, then one of your options that you have is simply to save this existing file, meaning the entire file with all the other pieces that you're not interested in, but you can save that as a VSP file. So we could call this 2 riff segments and save it as a VSP file, and that means once we close it and then we reopen it, we can open that VSP file again, and it would place on our screen these 2 looping areas that I had previously created, so I don't have to recreate them every time I open it. Number 2 is to actually create files from each of these 2 areas, and there are actually 2 ways you can do number 2. So the first is that you can go up here to export, and you can then select export current loop. Well, the current loop is the one in which this progress indicator is inside of. So if I export current loop, I could create a video just of this looping area. Then once I'm done, I could grab the progress indicator and I could then move it over to this second loop area, and then I could go up here to export current loop again, and I could export this second looping area. Now another alternative to this is I could go up here to export, and then I could choose export all loops. And if I did that, I would export both of these loops at the same time. And what it would do is it would place these 2 loops back to back. So essentially it would delete everything on the front of this, between these 2, and after this one, and put these 2 basically back to back, and you could export it and it would create a new file. So essentially that file would play first with the Randy Rhoads riff, followed by the Ritchie Blackmore riff. So that's 2 different ways by exporting in which I could create separate lessons or lessons from these 2 particular riffs. The third way then would be to actually use some of the editing functions and actually delete the areas that we don't want. So for example, we might go here and we might grab this selection handle and delete all of this. And then once that was done, we could actually go here. We could delete this area between the 2 loops, or if we wanted to keep some dead space in here so there's a little bit of pause between the 2, we could actually go up here and silence it. And then we could go to the end of this area and grab the selection handle again and delete the entire ending piece. And that way what we would end up with then is just these 2 areas left on the screen, or if we decided to silence this middle section, we would have this looping area followed by this silence followed by this looping area. So as we conclude, let me just say one last thing, and that is one of the keys to all of these approaches is actually the setting of the looping points, or if you're actually editing, the setting of these editing areas precisely. And next week we will discuss and show you how you can do that, how you can precisely set or select a particular area within the video. So stay tuned for that next week, and we'll see you then.